nurseries to clean. Coral reefs are one of the ocean's most valuable resources. While the excellent location that coral reefs offer for divers is a prominent feature of coral reefs, their most important characteristic is their ability to provide homes for 25% of the ocean's organisms. The island of Saba of the Dutch Caribbean prides itself in offering some of the prettiest and healthiest coral reefs in the world. In October of 2015, in an effort to continue growth in this part of the world's coral reefs, the Saba Conservation Foundation created its first coral nursery of staghorn and elkhorn coral. Since then, they have added 6 more trees, 4 of which that have been added to the existing coral nursery, and 2 that have been added in 2 new locations. One at the dive site of Raisin Anchors and the other at the dive site of Tent Reef. The goal of these coral nurseries is to provide a location of restoration for small fragments of coral to be grown and ultimately transplanted onto damaged reefs. The coral nursery implemented by the Saba Conservation Foundation is located 100 meters east of the first yacht mooring in between Wells Bay and Ladder Bay because of its easy access and sandy bottom. Several times a month, the SCF has visited these nurseries to clean and maintain them. Every 6 months, data is gathered in order to evaluate the growth of each specific fragment. Each coral is measured by its height and width. Since its beginning, we have noticed major growth in each tree of the coral nursery. As you can see on the graph, we have collected and organized the length of each coral fragment. November of 2015, January of 2016, and August of 2016. The graph shows the average growth of each fragment on one of the trees in the nurseries. There has been an increasing growth on an average of all of the trees. We have found that the growth of the coral is faster in the coral nursery rather than naturally. Eric Vance from Scientific America goes into detail on this in his quote from his recent coral nursery research in Mexico. He says, "Many scientists have discovered that branching corals, especially aquapora coral, actually thrive in nursery environments, and their arms easily break off to form dozens or hundreds of new colonies. The new colonies not only grow faster than wild ones, but reproduce sooner as well."
As more countries have seen the need and results of these coral nurseries, restoration of ecosystem services and coral reef quality, has created a solution. The Coral Restoration Project in Saba is part of the Rescue Project in Saba, funded by the European Union through the BES 2.0 program with co-funding from the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs. We are partnering with St. Martin, Statia, and Turks and Caicos in order to restore the coral reefs in all of these areas. The Rescue Project funds the restoration of elkhorn and staghorn coral reef zones. This new grant allows us to create more nurseries in time to come. Although this new grant funds our project, we must change the design of the coral nursery to align with rescue. We plan to execute the same procedures used for the coral nursery trees onto the coral nursery ladders.
We constructed ladders in order to fulfill the requirements of the rescue grant. Ladders consist of a buoy, 5 bamboo sticks in between 2 PVC pipes, and 20 feet of rope being held down by an anchor. The procedures are the same as the old coral nursery trees. However, the coral fragments are placed onto the bamboo sticks as shown in the picture. We plan to place these coral ladders in the same place as the past coral nurseries. We are hoping that the design will create a more renewable coral nursery that will sustain the ocean environment that is surrounding it.
The Samford University 2017 JanTerm group, C. Saba, and Leslie Revel of the Saba Marine Park were going to place these ladders in the coral nursery, photograph and measure the existing nursery coral fragment to assess 1 year's growth, break the larger coral fragments to populate the new trees, and transplant the larger 1-year-old fragments back to the reef. Due to rough seas this past week, we were unable to do this. Instead, we worked on collecting the staghorn and elkhorn data in the first part of the presentation and summarizing the existing growth data. Next week, when seas are calmer, Dr. Ron, Leslie, the Marine Park, and willing volunteers will complete this work. This summer, Dr. Ron and the Saba Marine Park will also add temperature and light data loggers to the structures to analyze microclimate variability.
The 2018 Samford University JanTerm group will continue this work next year and assess 2 years of growth and outplanting results. We are meeting our goal of taking a few coral fragments to many new coral reefs on Saba. So stay tuned and you can help by adopting a coral, a tree, or helping the Marine Park employees clean the structures. A special thanks to Samford University for our trip, Saba for our dive assistance, and Saba Conservation Foundation for the work alongside this project.